In the dimly lit back room of a forgotten antique store in Berlin, Viktor Reinhardt felt the thrill he always sought. He stood over a table cluttered with yellowed documents, maps, and old photographs. But one piece of paper held his gaze, a map to the Führer's coin, a treasure whispered about among collectors and coveted by underground elites for decades. The single, rare gold coin once belonged to Adolf Hitler himself, and it was worth millions. More than just money, it was a symbol, a cursed object that brought disaster upon anyone who owned it. Yet Viktor, the ghost-like master thief, didn't believe in such superstitions. He had spent his life perfecting the art of stealing the impossible. And now, he'd steal this piece of history right from under the noses of the world's best security. The coin was secured deep inside the Kaiser Wilhelm Museum, locked behind multiple layers of cutting-edge technology. Thermal detectors, biometric locks, pressure-sensitive glass cases, and constant surveillance. To most, this would be a suicide mission. But to Viktor, it was the perfect challenge. The museum's annual gala was coming up in just 1 week. The wealthy and powerful of Berlin would be there, a glittering distraction of wine, laughter, and flashing lights. It was all Viktor needed to carry out his plan. With him were his trusted companions, Katya, a former art forger with sharp instincts, and Ivan, an ex-Special Forces operative who could crack any lock, no matter how complex. Together, they would pull off one of the greatest heists in modern history. Viktor's approach to stealing was always rooted in elegance, not brute force. The gala provided the cover they needed, but every second inside the museum would be a tightrope walk. Viktor spent days studying blueprints and designing every move down to the last second. Katya would disable the auxiliary alarms, Ivan would hack into the security room to loop camera footage, and Viktor would enter the underground vault to retrieve the coin. They had exactly 10 minutes from the moment the security system was temporarily disrupted to escape undetected. After years of planning and months of preparation, Viktor was ready for his masterpiece. The night of the gala came quickly. Dressed in a tailored black suit, Viktor moved through the museum's grand halls, mingling with Berlin's elite. Katya, in a sleek black gown, kept watch on the guards, while Ivan, disguised as a security consultant, monitored the entire operation from within. As guests sipped champagne and admired priceless art, Viktor's heart beat steadily. He had done this countless times before, but tonight felt different. The Führer's coin was no ordinary prize. Its past was soaked in blood and its reputation carried a dark weight. But Viktor didn't believe in curses, only in skill and opportunity. When the time was right, Viktor nodded to Katya. She slipped away toward the service entrance, where she would deactivate a set of secondary alarms. Ivan, seated near the museum's security office, tapped into the camera feeds and created a loop of footage that would buy them precious minutes. Now it was Viktor's turn. With perfect calm, he entered a restricted corridor leading to the underground vault. His stolen access card worked flawlessly, and the door opened with a soft click. He moved swiftly, descending into the cold, silent depths of the museum. The vault was an eerie space filled with relics of a dark past. But Viktor's eyes were locked on a single object, a small pedestal in the center of the room. There, encased in bulletproof glass, was the Führer's coin, a piece of gold no bigger than a large button, engraved with Hitler's face and the swastika. Despite its size, its historical weight was immense. Viktor approached the case and with precise motions began disabling the pressure sensors surrounding it. His fingers moved methodically, bypassing security systems that would be impenetrable to anyone else. Within minutes, the glass was lifted, and the coin was in his hands. Viktor slipped it into a velvet pouch, feeling the cold weight of history in his pocket. His lips curled into a small smile. The heist was flawless, or so he thought. 2 days later, Viktor and his 6-year-old son, Lukas, sat together at an outdoor cafe in Vienna. Viktor always made sure to keep his criminal life separate from Lukas, but this time, he had to bring his son along. The coin, worth millions, was hidden deep inside Viktor's bag, awaiting the final handoff to a collector in Prague. It was all supposed to go perfectly. As they sat, Viktor sipped his coffee, watching people pass by, while Lukas played with a small toy on the table. He had no idea that inside his father's bag lay a fortune beyond imagination. Curiosity got the better of Lukas. While his father was distracted, Lukas unzipped the bag and began rummaging through it, looking for something interesting. His small fingers found a smooth, shiny coin wrapped in velvet. He pulled it out, marveling at how heavy and beautiful it was. "Papa," Lukas called out, holding the coin in his palm, "can I keep this?" Viktor, engrossed in his phone, barely glanced up. "Not right now, Lukas," he muttered absently. Lukas, disheartened but still wanting to play with it, looked around. Nearby, he saw a beggar, a frail old man sitting on the corner of the street, his hand outstretched for change. Lukas smiled, feeling a spark of kindness. Maybe the man needed the coin more than he did. Without thinking twice, Lukas hopped down from his chair and ran over to the beggar. "Here you go," Lukas said cheerfully, dropping the gold coin into the beggar's battered bowl. The beggar mumbled a soft thank you, not even looking at what had been given to him. Hours later, as the sun dipped behind the buildings, the beggar sat alone, sifting through the few coins in his bowl. His hands were slow, his mind heavy with the weariness of years spent on the streets. As he picked up each coin, his fingers touched something smoother and colder than the rest. He squinted at the object, holding it closer to his eyes. It was a gold coin, shining in the fading light. The beggar could make out the strange symbols etched into its surface: an eagle, a swastika, and the face of a man whose expression seemed frozen in time. The beggar's eyes, tired and clouded, didn't recognize its significance. To him, it was just another coin, perhaps worth a little more than the usual scraps of change he received. Maybe it would buy him a warm meal tonight. He tossed it back into his bowl, unaware that in his hands lay a piece of history worth millions, a cursed relic that had cost lives, fortunes, and reputations. In the world of high-stakes crime, even the perfect heist can be undone by the smallest twist of fate. Viktor Reinhardt, a thief of unparalleled skill, had stolen one of the most valuable objects in history. But in the end, it was his own son's innocent act of kindness that undid everything. The Führer's coin, once the centerpiece of a master heist, now rested in a beggar's bowl, lost in plain sight, unknown and unwanted. And so, the coin of chaos continued its cursed journey, bringing fortune and misfortune alike to those who held it, whether they knew its worth or not.